I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. This is another PayPal request for Guillermo. Thank you so much for that. Thank you to everyone who has requested. I really appreciate it. If you're interested in requesting any other type of videos of any type, it could be directly via my PayPal you can request it, or by joining my Patreon. The links to both are down below in the info box. If not, no worries, but if so, thank you. But the review for today is Devil's Pass. Now, this is a found footage film directed by Renny Harlin. I don't know why he directed a found footage film. It's like, I think Barry Levinson, didn't he do The Bay? And sadly, even The Bay, I would say, is better than this one. Like, Renny Harlin, I liked as a director. If I did a top 10 favorite directors, Renny Harlin would be on the list. Because a lot of his films I love. Prison, Elm Street 4, I love Die Hard 2, Cliffhanger, Adventures of Ford Fairlane. I mean, I liked Mindhunters. I liked Stiff Trace that he did with Jackie Chan and Johnny Knoxville. But this, in the end, it just makes me go, why did Renny Harlin do a found footage film? I mean, if you didn't know this was Renny Harlin, I never would have fucking known. Now, with found footage, I've talked about quite a few found footage films on the channel. I have a playlist of them on the channel. I don't know if it's updated. It has all the reviews I've done for found footage, but it has a good chunk of them. There's been a lot of good ones for me. The original Blair Witch Project, As Above So Below, The Tunnel, Afflicted, VHS2, Exists. I believe it was called They're Watching. I liked that one. But there's been a lot of bad ones. Bigfoot County, Unaware, Alien Abduction, and plenty more. This one, it's not one of the worst films. It's not going to be a full-on rant, but I didn't care for the film. But man, there's been so much worse ones. There's one I didn't review called Alien Origin. It was that fucking bad. It just... There's a lot better. There's a lot worse. At the end of the day, the setup. Because the setup is based on a true event in Russia, where it's called the Dyatlov, D-Y-A-T-L-O-V, Dyatlov Pass Incident. This is an incident where 9 people died in Russia in the snow. On, I believe, Kolat, the Mountain of the Dead. Funny enough, I first heard about this story from Markiplier, believe it or not, the video game player Markiplier, because he was playing this game called Kolat, K-H-O-L-A-T, and the setup of that game. And Mark was like, oh, I recognize that. That's based on this real story, and I don't mind that setup. The acting is from average to below average. The lead lady I thought was one of the weaker actors, and Sally's the lead lady. The actual story, you have these 5 students. Well, 2 are students, 1's a sound person, and 2 are to help them trek to Russia, up and over these mountains to find this spot. And they're asking false questions, and they find this guy named Sergey, and they go see his aunt, and the aunt talks about how, well, really, they found 11 bodies, not 9. What happened to those other 2, I don't know. But really, we found 11 bodies back in the day. And a good chunk of this build-up is just not that interesting, because the characters are not that interesting. I'm not invested in any of the characters. I can't tell you anything about the characters other than one of them believes that it could be aliens or something. The lead lady, of course, is obsessed of doing this. Just like Heather and Blair Witch Project and plenty of other fucking films did that. And so again, I watch this, I'm going, and like, it just doesn't do much for me. It really doesn't do much for me as I'm watching this. It's like, okay, and so what? I don't know. I don't think the lead was that good of an actress. I think some of the line delivery of the dialogue was very amateurish. The only dialogue I can remember is at one point one guy references Scooby-Doo. You're supposed to be our Velma. What's that? Scooby-Doo. What, the dog? No, I mean, yeah, it's a dog, but, well, never mind. Well, I've never seen it. Well, it's better than this. The 2 leads find a door in the snow. It's made to keep something inside. They don't tell the other 3. Then there's an avalanche. The sound lady, she dies from the avalanche. 1 person gets hurt. The other 3, they get shot out by these 2 guys. They have to leave that guy behind. The 3 of them get into this bunker that the 2 saw earlier. They close the door. And then you get to our last, 20, 30 minutes? Like 20-some minutes of the movie? 30 minutes of the movie? They go around this bunker. One of them is hurt, so they leave him for a little bit. They look at these files about Philadelphia experiments, things of that nature. They find a body with no tongue. They find their camera. Say, wait a minute, we have our camera here. Why is there a camera that looks exactly like ours? Okay, now you can put 2 and 2 together. You probably guess it before you even finish it. And then there's these 2 creatures with bad CGI that looks like they're teleporting, because they are teleporting. And even one of the leads goes, how come they're not killing us when they had the chance? And they're almost led into this tunnel where this time portal's at. They cry for a little bit. They have nowhere else to go. They go through the time portal. And the twist at the end, spoiler alert, it's the 1950s. So remember earlier I said the aunt of Sergey said they found 11 bodies, not 9? Well, those 9 was the original party. The other 2 was our 2 characters. Just a time portal went back to Russia in the 50s. And not only that, that whole bunker was a Russian experiment thing. So Russian soldiers are there. That's why earlier you had those 2 guys trying to shoot, either kill them or run them off to get away from that. But not only that, our 2 dead lead characters, well, they're hung on meat hooks, but there's something up with them. And they're deformed. And you see a tattoo of the lead lady. Oh my god, the 2 mutants that in bad CGI that was chasing our lead characters are the lead characters. So technically, the 2 were being chased by them. Future them. So this whole circle is completed where that's why the creatures were leading them here. To go through the tunnel, and because they went through the tunnel, their physiology has changed, and they become those 2 creatures that will chase in about 50 years. Will chase Our character's in the bunker. Which then makes me go, one, wow, that's why the camera, it is their camera. Because then the Russian finds the camera and puts it on the table. Which I'm like, wow, so that same camera, but that camera's, that has the best fucking battery I've ever seen of a camera. Because that battery lasted, what, 50 some years? I don't have a fucking phone that lasts a day. Unless it's plugged in. But this fucking battery on this camera lasts for 50 years? 50 fucking years? And also, I find it funny how, I think the game came out after this. There's a game called Until Dawn, right? If Until Dawn came out after this, Until Dawn seemed like it ripped some stuff off of this movie. Because you have creatures and bad CGI that kind of look like the Wendigo creatures in that game. One you notice used to be a human because of a fucking tattoo. And tons are ripped out, just like tons would be ripped out in that game. I never played that game. I don't have the systems for it. I would love to play it one day, but I don't have a PS4 or whatever it's on. I did see my friend Michael Teen's playthrough. Seemed like a pretty interesting game story-wise. But just go watch that. Just go watch a playthrough. Go watch someone, I'm sure, edited the fucking thing to a movie. Just go watch that. Also, it makes me wonder on certain things. Like the last shot of the film is a camera zooming into the lead lady hanging there, mutated, and oh, there's a tattoo, so it's really her. Who's zooming the camera? Did the camera zoom itself? Like, who's zooming the camera? What, did the Russian guys? So, I'm going to go to this camera. I know how to work it. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Oh, there's a tattoo. Let me do this for the audience watching. So that's what I mean. Other than the initial setup of the Dyatlov Pass Incident, which, I mean, maybe you could make a movie out of strictly that. Instead, you did elements of the Blair Witch Project, this thing that happened, you have a lead who's a lady, who's a little bit obsessed with it, and wants this project to happen. And then either average acting, or I think below average with the lead lady, dialogue delivery that's not that great. You don't know anything about the characters. There's really nothing scary in the first half of this film other than, well, we have footprints here. Where did the footprints come from? Or there's a point they climb up. Oh my god, there's a ton there. Where did that ton come from? Well, that's actually a good question because it's outside but these creatures are inside the bunker. So at one point they must have gotten outside, right? What did they do? They get outside, they got herded back in? Well, I guess so, because apparently they'll... No? Well, I guess, yeah, something must have happened. That's probably what happened to the Dyatlov Pass Incident, because even at the end, the Russians go, others have looked like this. So that means they've been doing experiments with this time portal. They send people through, well, they've gone through, they've looked like these fucking creatures. But I'm like, so what? Did they kill all of them except the two here? Maybe. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe something escaped, killed the 9 people of that party. They killed the creature, and then... But, okay, then why didn't you just kill these 2? If you knew what's going to happen. How the hell did they survive? In a bunker for 50-some years. With probably not much for food. Whatever. Guess you're not supposed to think about it. It just wasn't that scary. Wasn't that exciting. Wasn't that thrilling. You don't care about the characters. And again, when you got to the third act, the creatures are just bad CGI. They just look goofy. They look silly. The effects don't look real. Renny Harlin, I expected a lot better from you. You did Die Hard 2. You did Cliffhanger. You were good in horror. Prison. That's a low-budget film. That's a really good film. in my opinion. Prison is underrated. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, my favorite Elm Street film. What the... Was this just like a paycheck? Like an easy paycheck? Maybe. Maybe. I can only assume. I don't know what else. I really don't. With a fucking camera that has the best battery I've ever seen in fucking film history, that sat thankfully in the same spot, so no one nudged the camera. Because at the end, the Russian puts the camera, I guess, in the same spot that in present day the kids found it. So you tell me that camera was put there, it was never touched, it was never moved, it was never nudged, and the battery life lasted for like 50 fucking years, 60 years. Sorry, do battery life in cameras last 50, 60 years? Not that I fucking know. So, just some stupid shit like that. Lame ass CGI creatures. The fact that it's the two leads mutated and that's who's been chasing themselves is a semi-interesting idea, but I don't know, maybe in a better movie, maybe in a better film, I don't know, not so much here, but that's just me. So yeah, this film, just there's really not much else to say. It wasn't scary, wasn't creepy, and the characters aren't much, the acting isn't much. There's better found footage films. A couple interesting ideas make it not the worst. But Renny Harlin, what the fuck, really, what the fuck. But thanks for watching, take care, we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.